Get our meeting started here. I think everybody's ready. We stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's time for the vote of silence. Tammy, could you do the roll call for us, please?
Clifford Adams.
Here.
Patty Anderson. Here. Carrie Armstrong. Here. Ron Burke.
Here.
Brady Fight.
Here.
Diane Page.
Here.
Jeff Powell.
Here.
Eric Sunderland.
Here.
Kelly Polly.
Here. Thank you. Okay, so we move on to the approval of the official minutes from the October 14th workshop on October 21st voting meeting. Do we need to make any considerations to change anything? Do we want to waive the reading and approve that?
So moved. Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Okay, we move on to public participation. And I don't see Dustin here.
I'll reiterate, I did talk to Dustin, and he was going to come in and address the school board. He was concerned about us having school on Veterans Day, even though we did have an assembly, and I explained to him the reason behind it, and the history that we had. I just wanted to share with you his concerns, and he wasn't upset one way or the other. He just throwing out, they didn't have school on Veterans Day. And that's something that we could consider as we start working on the 25-26 calendar. Oh, that could be Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, I'm ready for you.
All right.
Yeah, would you tell everyone who you are and what your concern is this evening?
So my name is Dustin Shearbaum. My son Easton is in first grade, Mrs. Fox's class. The reason I was here was something that I wanted to address, the fact that we have school on Veterans Day. Being a veteran myself, I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed. I don't necessarily agree with the fact that we have school on Veterans Day. And I'm not saying that the school is not patriotic or anti-veteran, like, I'm not saying that at all. I have, no complaints with the school so far, except for that. Last year, when Easton was in kindergarten, I found out he had school on Veterans Day, which was, really concerning to me, and it upset me a little bit. But I figured, you know what, at least he can go to school and see the Veterans Day program, which is something that whenever I was in elementary school, I really liked, and I enjoyed that kind of time. And then whenever Easton got home, I found out that he didn't even get to go to the Veterans Day program up at the high school because it wasn't for kids kindergarten through 4th and 5th grade, which is absolutely absurd. That was the best time for me whenever I was a kid. That was whenever it was the most special. And I think the kids go up to the high school for pep rallies and stuff. I think everybody gets to go to those. I know he was going in first grade and kindergarten. So I feel like, if we're gonna have this Veterans Day program, and maybe I'm wrong, but if we can get all the kids up there for a pep rally, I don't understand why we can't get all the kids up there for a Veterans Day program. And that being said, I don't want to see the Veterans Day program go away, obviously, but I would like to see it happen on a day that's not on Veterans Day. I went to the Kearney State School District, so don't hold that against me, but we never had school on Veterans Day. And I just got out of the tree stand, and I just happened to be looking back through the Kearney City school calendars as far back as I could see them on the internet, and they've never had school. Doesn't matter what day of the week it fell on. If it fell on Saturday, they had Friday off. We have the day before Alpha off, and I don't really understand that at all, but if we can have the day before Alpha off, then I think we could have Veterans Day off, or maybe swap those two, because I feel like Veterans Day is a little bit more important than ALF, and even if we have to maybe extend the school year by one day. This is something that I think that this school, one of the only things that's lacking, and it's a really glaring problem in my opinion. I kept Easton home this Veterans Day, just in observance of it, and I don't know how many of you read the letter that I sent to the school. I know you did, sir. I don't know if you disseminated it to anybody or not, but, yeah, if you would like to read it, I have copies of it, or I'm sure he can, give you guys copies, but it kind of just spells out everything that I feel, all my other feelings about it, so. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys even have any say in it. Somebody said this has something to do with like the Clarion County, the Career Center, okay, so, like, I don't know if we even have if you guys have the ability to do it. Yeah,
Maybe it's just more explaining the reason behind why we have school and how it revolves around.
Yeah, I mean, I taught you in Carson City, you probably don't remember, it's been a long time, but we always had the day off, but Butler County schools all do that.
right,
And it ties in with their VOTEC. And I know, I questioned that when I got on the board here, why don't we have a day off? And it was explained to me because of how the county does their calendars, but also because they felt it was much better to have the kids here than have that program. I do agree with you, though, we should have something for the elementary. All the schools down there do a program, and I don't know, could we do an elementary program and a high school program, all the kids involved? That would be my suggestion if we continue to keep.
yeah, like if we can't have off, at least have the elementary school kids be able to enjoy, that program. And I know you had mentioned that they could live stream it in the classroom or something, I mean, that's just not the same.
We have a seating capacity issue in the auditorium.
What about the pep rallies?
A lot of times we're not in the gym or outside, so if we have a different option, we can consider hosting it in the gymnasium out there, we could probably get it. That's the only reason we didn't bring up.
Yeah. No, like I said, if it's something that you guys don't know if you have the ability to change because of the Clarion,
No.
then, that's something maybe I should take up with them. I don't know how much say I get to have, but.
Now, each school designs their own calendar, it just works better for our VOTEC students if we can keep those calendars aligned, or it messes up the days that they can attend the VOTEC, which could affect certifications, et cetera, down the road. But, I would think, it would be nice to have a program in each building, if that would be possible, it's a bit more work on the teachers, but.
Well, I don't care one thing, I would take that on, but I do think maybe having it in the gymnasium and having all of us together at once, because I know even like trying to get the vets there for the high school program, 'cause we're still working on trying to build up a number of vets who attend. So to have two programs, I'm not sure how much participation we get from veterans, but
I think you'd be okay,
auditorium,
'cause
auditorium wise, it's hard.
for years, they had three, we had three when I worked on, so. But again, there was a student council that took over that, so, something that, would you be okay with that if? Only because of the logistics of switching our calendar, and I don't know how everybody else feels, but it would it's going to affect more than just that, there's other things that get affected if we change calendar days and cancel school when we don't align with the rest of the county.
I mean, our career center kids would definitely be affected, and I don't think any of us, Justin, think that, the elementary kids should be left out,
Yeah, no, I don't
And
want-
we definitely think that, there should be an importance on that day. We have a lot of veteran parents, grandparents, et cetera. So I think creatively trying to come up with a solution that includes all the kids, I think it's very difficult for us to not have school that day because of the career center schedule, and our kids missing out on those hours. But if we can creatively come up with a solution that includes.
Or is there a way to okay, if you're in low tech, then yeah, you got bite the bullet and come in, is that an option? No.
Yeah, but, I definitely think that we can come up with a solution
So we could,
to keep all the kids included.
right, we could set up the gymnasium like we do for graduation, have that stage up there, so it's like, set up like the auditorium, but we have the seating capacity then, and just include everybody. I mean, I know it's more work for James Case Crew, unfortunately, but that could be a solution.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to see that Veterans Day program go away.
Oh, no, of course not.
By any, stretch of the imagination, because it's, I think we have a long-standing, reputation for our Veterans Day program here and the recognition that we give, the veterans, but, making sure that all of our students are involved with that is important.
Okay, any Anybody else? All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your service.
No problem.
Okay. Is there someone else here to address the board? Nope, don't see any. Okay. We'll move on to board concerns. I had,
Presentation.
Presentation.
oh yeah, I'm skipping all right over that. Okay. Moving too fast. So we're gonna have a presentation at this time by the Community 1-2 Mid Team.
Good evening, everyone. Kristen Thurber and I were talking about who we could nominate for the elementary school for the monthly recognition that the board has been giving. And we have a lot of difficulty coming up with just one person. It's truly building line. We have so many good things going on. To narrow it down to one person was very difficult. And in talking, we decided that the groups that we would like to feature this month, as our first group to recognize, was our 1-2 community win time group. And that's not just teachers, that's interventionists, special education teacher, our speech and language, our certified occupational therapy assistant, our instructional aide, and even some of our AmeriCorps workers that come down from high school. The reason we chose them is that in the 23-24 school year, we made a commitment with IU6 under the direction of Dean Croyle to commit to incorporating an MTSS model here at ACV. We have presented we've presented to the board previously about what MTSS is as far as a framework of education that meets instructional, social, emotional, and behavior needs, and incorporates using a lot of data in order to adapt that instruction for each individual student. As part of our commitment with the IU, the first thing we had to do was come up with a mission statement for our particular MTSS team. So that is up there. I did share this presentation with all of you prior to the board meeting, probably just about half an hour or 45 minutes ago. So we are not going to go through every slide and read every single thing that you see up here. Don't panic when you see some of the slides. You'll have time on your own if you want to go through and read a little bit more about what each person in the group does as their role. Several of them came with us tonight to present their roles and kind of talk about what they do. The MTSS model is a process that's going to take some time. Just cut out. This is year 2 of the model. So in our first year, we accomplished curriculum alignment guides and pacing guides for kindergarten through 3rd grade. This year, we are starting to look at the same for 4th grade, and we are talking about standardized report cards for 1st grade that would be very similar to what kindergarten does. So it's baby steps of the pieces of the MTSS, but you can't bite off that whole thing at once because the umbrella is so big with MTSS incorporating all of those different needs. But the other thing that we did do this year was pilot the MTSS intervention model in Community 1-2. And that's what we're focusing on tonight, and what a great job the team has done in implementing that model. The reason we chose 1-2 to implement the model in is that's where you get the biggest bang for your buck, so to speak. You need to intervene often and early with kids as they learn to read to prevent those problems from becoming bigger issues as they move up through the upper grades. Once they get to like 4th, 5th, and 6th, it becomes much more difficult to intervene and have as much impact. So that's why we chose 1-2. The beginning parts of that was we needed to build a schedule that allowed them to have common win times and common planning times. So we did that this year, and we've talked about that in previous board meetings. Obviously people have some reservations about change, that always happens, but truly this group has bought in and been dedicated to running this model and really meeting kids' needs through data-driven instruction. And I couldn't be prouder of the dedication and determination they've shown in doing that. Down to, they requested a data meeting off schedule, like we have scheduled data meetings, but they saw the need for it and said, can we have a meeting? That doesn't happen. Usually it's like, oh, it's a meeting then. So we have the team broken up into groups that can provide what each student needs. So there are reading and mathematics targeted interventions. That's provided by our reading specialist, learning support teacher, and classroom teachers. Then there are the kids that are enriching or accelerating, and that's provided by classroom teachers. Obviously, Mrs. Shebach is our speech and language. She provides all of their articulation and language needs during this time. And then Kelly Schimpf is our CODA, our certified occupational therapy assistant, and she does both occupational therapy interventions and some of the handwritten without tears interventions and pushes that she needs to do during that time. So the ones that came here tonight are gonna kind of take you through their slides and give you an overview of what their role is. So the whole team is Erin Marlette, Ann Butler, Stacy Fox, Sarah Henry, Trevor Kyle, Emily Layshaw, Sarah McCord, Sarah Pennington, Kelly Schimpf, Darlene Scott, Wendy Shebach, Marcy Sunlane, and Kristen Berger. And myself. And then, of course, we have a few of our important kids too. So we're going to start off with our reading specialists.
Good evening. So let me just have you look at this. So I'm going to go to the next slide. This will be important. I guess I can come back. So at the beginning of the year, we have a team, a data team, and we assess all students. We added a team group approach this year. Instead of just reading specialists do one thing, math interventionists do one thing, we work together and we looked at the data. At the data meetings, we would hold we made flexible groups. And so this year what is new is that we used all that data to figure out grade 1 and 2, because we had them all at the same time. So we had to go and create these passports for our kids. So they knew which teacher they would go to during their win time 1 and win time 2. It was confusing enough for all of us to remember where everybody was going with like 80 little people everywhere. So it was just a great idea to create these passports. So we all call them passports, and the kids just have these with them so they know where they're going. There are flexible groups, so we continue to look at the data. We have meetings, and then we can use the kids, and of course, change passports if we need to. Another thing we have done is we send home data reports. We have done this before, but this year we are also sending home data reports. And they include a parent letter, kind of explains the data. And we also, if you look over there in the corner, it's very small, but we have tried to include some more information on how parents can engage with their students at home. And we did that for every single grade. And that was just that letter would go to a student if they were coming to one of the specialists, either myself or Mrs. Sunling, or to one of the others that you might have seen on the passage. So just kind of a little more data dive for the parents so they could help their students at home.
Once we have the data and we have our groups, we continue to progress monitor those students. Some are weekly, some are bi-weekly. We use that data, like Lori mentioned, we saw a need for another meeting based on this progress monitoring scores. Reading specialists, we also support staff with any questions or concerns. They might catch us in the hallway, say, hey, I need help with this, or do you have ideas for this one? So we do support the staff, and we attend TLC meetings once a month for primary and once a month for intermediate. And like I said, we use that progress monitoring data to make changes in the flexible groups. And as Erin said, we will change the passport so they know where they go to the first win group and when they go to the second win group, and what days.
This right here are the two programs that we use mostly for progress monitoring. We have the Cadence online. In the past, we've used paper and pencil booklets. This year, we advanced to online, which automatically scores it for us, so it saves us time. We also use a new program we're piloting this year called ESGI. It's a progress monitoring website where we can find teacher-created progress monitoring tests, or we can create our own. We can share those out to the rest of the teachers in the district. Mr. Howell cannot be here, but he does the similar things, only on the math side of intervention. So we need to look at this in the other emails for Mr. Howell's slide. Hi, I'm Ann Butler. I'm in second grade now. I know it's a little odd to see me here. It's been a little adjustment, but we're getting there. All right, so I'm going to talk about the teacher's role. There are 5 of us. 2 of us take on what we call the core. They're the kids that do not need any remediation. They are on core level. And so 2 of us do things like book studies, spiral reviews of topics that we've already covered to keep those topics fresh in their mind. We may do things like book taco and book reports. I write anything to support the core program, what they've already learned, to keep it fresh in their mind, and so they don't forget skills. So we're bringing those skills fresh to their mind all the time. So 2 of us are doing that. The other 3, based upon the data that we get from our reading specialists and our math specialists, are breaking kids up into smaller groups to do what I call fill the gaps. They have small gaps within their education, and those 3 other teachers are working on specific skills that need to fill those gaps. So you can see first grade here is split into 3, and here's second grade's core. Doing things like iReady, which we use as a measurement tool. Review games, task cards, spiral reviews of math. We may do a book unit or a unit on facts. We are also doing comprehension. And in second grade, we also have a bridges intervention for math. So she uses the program Bridges. Mr. Heil lets those 2 specific teachers that do that know what lessons to do within those Bridges programs, and they're doing those in small groups. So our core groups are around 20, 25-ish, and our goal is to move those kids in with those core groups as fast as we can. Any questions on that? Okay.
Yeah, so as Mrs. Butler said, the goal is to fill those gaps and have more kids in tier 1. So lots of times over the years, we've shown you our triangles, we've set our triangles upside down because we have too many kids in tier 3 and tier 2. So this whole program is structured at flipping that triangle over and getting most of the kids what they need in tier 1, and then the tier 2 and tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3 kids would be fewer. So then the remaining slides go through each of the other people's roles. So you'll have special educator, those are learning support teachers. They're giving the academic support in their rooms. Mrs. Shevak has 17 students in first and second grade to whom she's giving speech and language interventions during that time. Kelly Shimp has 11 kids that she does some occupational therapy things with. And she also does handwriting interventions during that time. And she included some samples up there. And we've talked about that stuff at board meetings in the past as well. Sarah Henry is our instructional aide. She pretty much does similar things to Ann and Darlene and the teachers. She's just like another person. She is a certified teacher, so she's able to take another small group, and that helps us to keep our small group numbers down. Yeah, and it is nice because if somebody is absent and the whole thing and gets passport says they're supposed to go there, Sarah can jump over and be that person, in incorporate our groups in with other things. And lastly, we have 3 AmeriCorps students. I know we have Bailey Pence, Ethan Neal, they're taking Duffy and here. Bailey Pence. Anyway, there's 3, I thought there was 3. But, they just aid the teachers in those groups, and it's always amazing to me to see how well those AmeriCorps kids work with the kids, and they don't receive any specific instruction on how to be a teacher or anything other than from the teachers that they're working with, and they just jump in and they do what needs to be done, and they're really great for our kids. So I love that collaboration with kids. So unless anybody has any questions, that is why we nominated this large group of people, and want to just recognize the 1-2 community and all the effort that they've put in. You know, like I said, I couldn't be prouder than them for the dedication that they've shown to this program, and I think it really is helping our students, and we're going to see that paying off down the road. Maybe not in my time, but in the next few years. For sure.
So I have a plaque for you guys. I think it was under the 13, but. And I'll try to make it big enough on it. For you guys from the board. You're welcome, thank you. Thanks for taking up the time to come tonight, I appreciate it. Okay, so we're not seeing the senior trip information tonight.
No,
We're
just
still
separate.
making decisions.
Yep.
Okay, so now we can move on to board concerns. I had Tammy copy this for you guys as the PSBA liaison. This is a pamphlet they had out with some of the upcoming professional development. You can take that look at it. If there's anything you would like to attend, we are members through the district, so you can access all of those courses. That information's in that packet. Are there any other board concerns this evening? Okay, that's great. Not hearing anything, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. If you take a look at that for a moment and see if there anything you would like to remove from the consent agenda to be voted on separately. Not hearing anything, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on any of those items? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, Patty, we'll put you on finance and purchase.
Can I do, one A and B together?
You can do A through E, yes.
Consideration, for A through E, which is including paying bills for October, November, general fund financial payroll check register, cafeteria finance report, activities report for October 4, and the first program. So, second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all. Who's this one right now? Diane did. Can you just second Diane?
Yes.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Good evening. I'd like to know, we tested out some new menu items this year, like some General Tso's chicken and some Chipotle chicken rolls and things like that. Seeing an increase in numbers, the kids are loving it, and our second chance is just holding steady. So everything's going as I hoped there so far. I had spoken last month about hoping to try and dig up some more grant type money for fresh fruit vegetables. And I did reach out through the USDA Department of Defense Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program. And they did, I did secure an additional $20,000 funding for fresh fruit and vegetables for the rest of the year. And if it runs out, I'll be asking for more, because all they can tell me is no. We will be serving our Thanksgiving dinner for staff and students this Thursday with turkey dressing, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, Dutch apple pie, wolfgang caboodle. So this week is absolutely insane in the kitchen. And then we're doing a holiday celebration meal for Christmas and New Year's this year, because there is such a short period of time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. we didn't figure another turkey, dinner, mashed potato stuffing was going to be popular. So we're gonna go ahead and bring in our Super Bowl party. And so we'll be doing pizza and wings, soft pretzels with cheese, and some sort of fun little dessert, fresh and vegetable type thing for the kids, so that they can have their little Thanksgiving dinner, but still have something special in between the holidays, but not another one of these really big, huge meals. I am under procurement rating this year. All the paperwork has been sent in. I still have not received any requests for any additional information. So either they haven't gotten to me yet, or I'm good to go. But I will let you know as soon as I get the final answer on all of that. I did attend a regional food service director meeting this past Friday in Altoona. There look to be quite a few changes that are going to be coming in to the National School Lunch Program once the DC administration changes over. One of the big things they were talking about that's looking to be kind of iffy is the CEP program. They're going to try and get rid of that. But I don't know but they're looking at bringing something else in. We don't know what that is yet. I'm hoping it will be something that will maybe help more of our students receive that free meal, because our percentages just keep going down instead of up. We're only at about 38.9% still with the change of Medicaid and Medicare, and that not automatically qualifying you for free lunch directly anymore. That dropped a number of students off of our free and reduced list. So I'm hoping, I don't want to see CEP go, but I'm hoping that they'll bring in something that maybe helps out a lot more of our students. Because of that change, we do have numerous kids that do owe money. I do have donated money, and I really would like to sit down with Dr. McNiven and talk about this a little bit, and hope to maybe pay off some of those for parents before the holidays. I know that losing that help was absolutely devastating to them this year. I kind of knew it was coming, but it really, really happened. It started the year one way, and then boom, it was just gone. So I've been reaching out to families, helping out where I can, and I'm looking to do that. And the biggest thing is I want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. What you do for the district does not go unnoticed, and you are greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Item G, consideration to approve the 25% increase for collective payroll district tax collectors for fall 2022 tax collection. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we're gonna move on to personnel. You good to go with this, Carrie? Any questions?
No.
Okay.
Letter A, consideration to approve the request for the employee number 200 for paid maternity leave tentatively beginning January 27, 2025, or sooner if necessary, utilizing all emergency sick and personal days. Once all emergency sick and personal days are exhausted, use family medical leave to cover additional time needed off work through May 28, 2025, with return date of May 29, 2025, teacher and service day, and again, snow makeup days as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter B, consideration to approve advertising in-house for a long-term substitute teacher, fill the maternity leave referenced above. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter C, consideration to approve the business manager job description as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter D, consideration to approve the director of special education job description as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And letter E, consideration to approve the central office board secretary, school board secretary, job description as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Sorry, I did not fill in the salary amount. I know we have Sarah.
Sarah Patton, $34,345.48.
Thank you.
All right, letter F, consideration to approve hiring Sarah Patton upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as central office / school board secretary at a prorated salary for the remainder of the 2024-2025 school year of $34,345.48. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
We do have Sarah here this evening, so we got her started as soon as possible to learn as much as she can.
I'm excited. We're excited to have you. I know Miss Tammy, but I'm sure she'll train you well. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Welcome, Sarah. Letter G, consideration to approve hiring Kyle Swarthager upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as a full-time grade 11 heavy-duty custodian contingent upon 60 workday probationary period at an hourly rate of $16.72. Upon completion of the 60 workday probationary period, the hourly rate will be $17.72 per hour. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Good thing
We're
we're,
tabling
We'd
them.
like to table.
do you have to make a motion to table that?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we table letter H, which is the hiring of special, director of special education.
Sorry. Okay, we have a second from Patty, I believe. Okay. I believe we had one interview and there was another one today, but there's been still interviewing and working that out, so to try to get the best person in that position is a hard position to fill, so that's why we're tabling. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter I, consideration to approve hiring Sydney Rankin as weight room supervisor, 3 hours per day when school is in session at an hourly rate of $7.25 per hour. All required paperwork is currently on file in the district office. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Letter J, consideration to approve advertising for the following vacancies: assistant junior high boys basketball coach, junior high volleyball coach, 2 assistant softball coaches. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? By the way, Sarah was a great softball player and basketball player, so we already talked to her about using her talents in some way here.
So I have a question. I know we talked before about this, but like the different assistant coaches we have for some of the sports. I mean, we looked at like, are they necessary? Are they not necessarily necessary? I'm not a sports person, so I don't know, but do we need these 2 additional softball coaches or?
Didn't we have 2 already in the spring, or were we having 1 this year? Can't you have 2? Thought we did 2 last year, Bill, did we in the spring? Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not adding anymore, we just be filling those 2 of those spots.
Okay, I misunderstood that, all right.
But I agree with you, I mean, I don't know if the numbers, I mean, do we look like we don't know yet?
I don't know what the numbers are right now.
Okay,
I think one was union and one was ours.
yeah. Yeah, we added, like I said, 1 more on in the spring, because I think there was only 1, and then they asked for a second.
Equalize it with the baseball.
Right.
Okay.
So, I mean, I agree with you, maybe, down the road, as we need to put the numbers, we may need to change those counts.
Okay.
So, okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Finally, letter K, consideration to advertise in-house for a long-term kindergarten substitute. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we'll move down to the instructional services. Brady, you want to do that?
Sure, elementary report, please.
So I don't have a whole lot more beyond our presentation today, but kind of piggybacking off of that, one of the things we've talked about needing to do with the 1-2 community parents is have a parent engagement night. Kristen and I are going to collaborate on that. Hopefully, we'll have a date prior to Thanksgiving break to give to parents, and then hopefully actually hold that engagement night between Thanksgiving and the winter break. Just some different ways of doing things, especially spelling. There's been a lot of 2nd grade parents that are confused with the spelling. So we want to just have that parent engagement night. We have met with some parents one-on-one, with teachers, that just feel there's a need there to bring them in and, give them that opportunity to come in, ask questions, sort of see how things work in this new system so that they understand it a little bit better, because they are an important part of our team. The other two things, Friday, the students received their book blast books, anywhere from 1 to 10 books, depending on how they did through that program. And they got some special drop everything and read time so that they could peruse their new books here at school. And I just want to give a big shout out again to Steph Best for organizing that program and getting books in the hands of kids, because the English teacher in me loves that. We had our Q1 Superstar Lunch on Friday. So the students that got to eat lunch with me and be recognized for that were Maverick Jenkins, Jackson Buzzard, Callie Lutz, Mikey Kiefer, Miles Spencer, Bristol Colwell, and Crew Adams. Hannah Jack was also a superstar this quarter. She happened to be missing, so we'll invite her to the Q2 Superstar Luncheon. And lastly, a big thank you to the high school students who came down. Football players were the first ones to come, and then since the last meeting, we've had the volleyball team, the golf team, and the marching band members to come down to do Falcon Fridays and greet the kids. The kids absolutely loved it. I think the high school kids enjoyed it as well. And I'm hoping to collaborate with Bill and Emily and have some of the same thing with our winter sports, our basketball teams, and possibly some of the clubs up there. Might have to do a little bit different approach as it gets colder out. Instead of standing outside, maybe have them come in and have breakfast, or stand inside and greet them. But I really do like that program, and like all of our programs that get our high school kids and elementary kids together. It's just fun to watch them mentor. So, and that's all I have for this month.
Thank you. Secondary report.
We do a lot of things at the high school regarding college and career readiness. Two of the big things that we have done in the last month involve big trips. So we took approximately 40 students down to the David Lawrence Convention Center. This was a gathering of a lot of different types of businesses, including trades unions and things like that. Students were able to go around and look at the numerous trades that were represented there. Some of them got to use some virtual reality equipment, similar to, I think, what we have up at the Westview program. A lot of the kids were very excited. They came back, and a lot of them didn't realize that, just to give you an example, my old labor union that I worked for, painting, drywall, finishing, things like that, that can be a career that actually pays pretty good money. They talked salary with these guys, and they got to see that you can make a pretty good living, support a family on a union salary doing those kinds of things. So I think it opened up a lot of avenues for students to explore further as they seek out whether they want to go to college or whether they want to get a career or trade. One of the other things we did on the flip side of that was we took all the 11th grade students up to Clarion University for a post-secondary fair, where they were able to talk with representatives from a lot of the state schools and different tech schools, things like that. I appreciate the support that the board gives us in our budget to be able to do those things, because it really does open up the students' eyes to be able to talk to somebody in that field. It becomes more real to them. In 11th grade, a lot of times you think, oh man, graduation's a long ways off. I don't have to be an adult for a while. But I think they start to realize, oh, I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do, because it really isn't that far off. I think all of us can say 2 years' time is not much. We also, over the last couple of weeks, we gave the PSAT to a number of students, and we gave had the military come in and give the ASVAB testing. The ASVAB I use as one of those pathways to graduation. The lowest score that you can achieve on that is a 31. And I'm pretty happy to say that 40 out of 46 students received a score of 31 or higher, which means that can be used as one of their pathways. So I can check those off. I also wanted to mention, I've talked a lot about statewide data and our testing and things like that. This past week, the state released all of the district scores, which includes individual building scores. I was hoping that in our IU that AC Valley High School would be at the top, to be number one, which I am happy to say is the highest score that we've achieved yet since I've been. Well, since they've been giving us a score, which was back in 2016-17, they started giving us a score like that. I also looked at all of the schools in Pennsylvania, and there are 2,738 schools. That's elementary, middle schools, and high schools. And our score was actually higher than 67% of all the other Pennsylvania schools. So I think we're on a positive end of it. We're going to keep working hard. We're going to keep doing what we need to do. But I'm pretty proud of my staff up at the high school, the teachers, the support personnel, even the custodians, cafeteria workers. We are all working hard to try to get these kids focused on their academics and on performing. The one area that we get, or that we got a red mark, is in attendance. And just to give you an idea, and you can look this up on PA Department of Ed website, they have all the information there about attendance. And students' regular attendance is considered 90% or more. And 180 school calendar, that's 17 days. I think that's pretty reasonable, that you can miss up to 17 days and be considered, regular attendance. Unfortunately, at the high school, our attendance rate right now is at 83.2%. We are having a severe issue with students that are just not coming to school. And I get the whole thing. I mean, when I was in high school, I was not a good attendance person. Like, I missed a lot of school, and it did not bode well for me once I graduated. We need to do something, and I don't know what that is. I've talked to a lot of my teachers about how can we get attendance to be increased. I just don't know what it is. Since COVID, we've struggled with attendance, and I'm talking kids missing already 25, 30 days, and we're only through one quarter of the school year. And I get illnesses. I don't want to touch that issue, but my goodness, we got to have kids come to school. It does not look good for kids graduating, going out into the world, and missing 50% of your workday or your work time. It just, and I don't know where to start. I really don't. It's not all students, but it's a majority of them. That 83.2% of them are coming regularly. That means, 17% are not attending regularly, not getting that 90% or higher attendance. So if you have anything that you can share with me that would help with that, if you hear parents complaining because my attendance officer is getting on their students about attendance, it's important to us. I would be safe to say that we would get at least a point or two on our building score just over attendance if we met that 90% attendance rate. We're not there. And so we are struggling with that. Please communicate out. 90% or higher. Just show up. If you're not feeling well, show up. If you're really sick, my nurse will look at you and say, yeah, you got to go home. But just show up. That's what we need. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Consideration to approve the high school culinary 2 curriculum dated 10/2024 as attached. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the musical cooperative agreement between the Allegheny Clearing Valley School District and the Union School District for the 24-25 school year as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
So just to clarify, we're going to be the host school. If the percentage of students coming from Union stay under 35%, Union pays for the kids to come here. If it's above 35% of them sending to us, then we split the cost 50-50 like the sports ones.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking at the percentage here, yes. Are we hosting this year? Okay. But then next year, we don't know.
It's a 1-year agreement. Bill, did you guys talk about future years?
We did talk about it. I mean, of course, they would like to have something over there, but they don't have the facilities like we do. They don't have an auditorium. What they do is hold it in the gymnasium area, so it's just not set up to make it a real great place for, offering the music.
Sure. Does Union have any idea of how many kids they think they're gonna send over to us, or?
They were thinking around 30, 35, 40.
Okay.
They do have grades 6 through 12 in their high school, not 7 through 12.
Okay.
So, they include those kids also.
Any other discussion on it? The kids seem okay with this? I mean, the students are,
Kids don't seem to care.
okay,
And this will allow us to hold a little more detailed conversations about what we're doing. So I think Jenny will be happy to move forward now.
okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Athletic report, please.
I'd like to on sports right now. The winter season is kicking off probably the first part of December. Basketball season is kicking underway. We'll have our tip-off tournament. And, yeah, they started practice last Friday, so just went before you know it, it's here already. Crazy how fall sports is 2 o'clock. We're in winter sports now, so there we go.
Thank you.
I just shout out to the football team since we made it to the second round of the playoffs. I think those boys had a fantastic season and just want to send a shout out. We're proud of them.
Western Secure Treatment Unit report, please.
Good evening. We currently have 41 students at Westview. 27 of those are special education students. I'm happy to report that 22 of our students were on the honor roll, 20 of them were on the B honor roll, and 2 of them were on the A honor roll. We are having an honor roll celebration this Wednesday, so we're very excited about that. They get their special treats, which are going to be hot Cheetos, pizza, and wings. So that's going to be Wednesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. So they're very excited. We're hoping that everyone else gets excited so that we can have more on the honor roll. But that's half the school, so we're excited about that. Our admin team, we're considering switching our academic schedule from a 5-unit schedule, which it currently is, to a 4-unit schedule. Reason being is right now we only have 4 units or 4 dorms. Unit would be a dorm. But we're running on a 5-dorm schedule. So there's a lot of gaps in the current schedule. We feel like changing into a 4-unit schedule will improve teacher schedules. It will increase academic time by 6 minutes. And then just the overall processes and academia for the students is going to improve. So that hasn't been 100% determined, but we're still in discussion about that. Any questions about that?
Will you start that this year, or you?
Yes, we would like to. We're just determining what would be the best time, and then we're reviewing the current schedule that had been previously drawn up last year to determine if that's what we want to use, or are we going to tweak that. So, but I feel there's a lot of benefits. And one of our teachers, Erica Smith, we're also going to utilize her a little differently with our vocational program, which we think will be very helpful as well. DHS is purchasing new furniture for several rooms at Westview, including all classrooms, the teacher's lounge, and a new educational conference room, as well as 2 offices. There is no cost to AC Valley or to Westview for this furniture. So Dr. McDivitt has been in the process of working with a salesman, and they've been at the school, and it's kind of just revising it and trying to customize it to each room. So that's exciting for our students and for our staff. Last Wednesday, myself, Dr. McDivitt, and Kristen Thurber, we went to the North Central Secure Treatment Center, which is in Danville, as well as the Northeast Secure Treatment Center. And it was very enlightening to us, being new, watching what they had, their academics, reviewing their curriculum, seeing their staff, their physical building. The Northeast Secure Treatment Unit was very similar setup to ours. Looking at their scheduling, which is something that we're looking at altering, as well as their vocational setup and offerings and the student to staff ratio. They were very, very impressed. Jeff from North Central Secure Treatment Unit actually came to visit us, I want to say about a month ago, and he was extremely impressed with our vocational offerings. And, he also shared some of his, which, obviously we would like to add to what we have, but in a different sense. So it was a great visit. Really got some good ideas on how we can improve our current facility academia, as well as modifying staff and even adding some additional staff. So I don't know if there's anything you two would like to add.
I think there's just 6 of the units, we were at S2 and S2 and S2.
We decided on the Navy division. I thought it was us. Did we not come up with that?
That came from the state, but we seem one really good thing. That's good.
The last thing that I want to comment on is the vocational program. We spoke last month when I was here about just providing an update. So I have my assistant Vanna White here, who's going to hand out some, we brought some student samples of student work. As you can see, you all received a pencil, but I'm just gonna summarize a few things and we're gonna pass some things around for you. And you're welcome to stay after to take a look at them. First of all, let's start with the wood.
I'll just start with Brady here, and then you can take a look at it all.
And I'm just gonna go over some summaries of things that will cover this. Westview offers status students who are meeting program expectations and graduates the opportunity to gain career and vocational training through a hybrid program guided by both AC Valley and the Westview staff. Within the program, students can acquire their Safe Serve Food Handler's license in addition to other certifications they earn through the standard AC Valley education. Should students be interested in further certifications while in the program, they have the opportunity to gain more through the online policy. Vocational offerings include hands-on experience in operational, professional grade machinery and equipment using engravers and routers. Vocational Services also offers exploratory training in heavy machinery operations through simulation and virtual reality programs. That's the students' favorite, driving a dump truck, driving a backhoe. That's their absolute favorite thing to do. These simulators allow students to individually track progress and skill development in a minimum of 7 distinct career paths. To show success students have found with these hands-on trainings, we have sent some physical examples to you. First of all, we have a great success using the Epilogue Laser Fusion Edge laser engraving device. Early designs of our students include wooden coasters, the design of which we have here tonight, including selections from the dollar bill coaster set by one of our students with the initials MJ. Additional tests in laser engraving include the aerial view of the AC Valley School on a wooden board. I don't know who has that, but if you look in the background, you can see it, which is
I didn't see it, please said that.
yeah, which is pretty cool. In fact, when they brought that to me, which was a couple weeks ago, you could actually smell the wood stuff, which was pretty cool. We also have a fully engraved pencils, which you all have a copy of, that you guys can take that home with you. And then the AC Valley metal water bottle, as well as the vocational leather coaster. All of these designs were made using the laser engraver and are created by a student creating a design in Adobe Illustrator using text messages, text, images, and assets. This design is then sent to the laser engraver and a student must experiment, finding the appropriate power and speed to create the desired burn effect on the material. Okay. Finally, we have an example of our content made in our graphic design or print workshop space using Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. The students were able to create visual assets to print on various materials using our roll-in 54-inch printer. Examples include a banner, which we use for graduation for our students, and a polo shirt. We use the heat press graphic for our students. We also we're taking a break into using our Stratasys F170 printer and CAD software, which I don't know if you have the little skull. Does anyone have the skull? Okay, so the skull, we have 2 students that made those. That is using the 3D printing machine and the GrabCAD software. That is basically slicing down the plastic into individual layers and then formulating it into a hard surface, into the object. So that's pretty cool. They made the watch as well as the skull. So we're definitely getting more proficient with the staff, getting training. The trainings are still going on because we have so much equipment, but it's very exciting and the students are learning more every day. We're exposing more students to the offerings that we have. And we're looking into other offerings as well. Talked to Dr. McDivitt about possibly getting a greenhouse. We could use our funding for that. And, planting a garden, teaching the students how to do that. And hopefully rolling that out into, growing vegetables, having the students take care of that. And then maybe even someday into a culinary program. Any other questions? Thank you for allowing the opportunity for us at WestU to have these great experiences for our students. We appreciate it. Thank you to Vanna White. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Thank you.
Federal programs report.
Okay, back to our Title I-D money. Just a reminder, there is about $89,000 there. After our visit out east, we did a little reevaluation on our needs back here at WestU. And admin team was talking, we've also spoken with Minnie and Julie and Anna and Dr. Maines about what we recognize as needs there. And some things have come up. More hands-on curriculum, we've discussed that. So I have some samples coming in for the teachers there. But one of the biggest needs that has been coming up is staffing. So it keeps going back to that. As a reminder, the Title I-D funds are supplemental. Dr. G has a goal set and one that she has talked to from the get-go about the vocational center and really building upon that. And she mentioned Ms. Smith potentially moving her to a more highlighted, more focused role in our vocational center. This money could be used to pay her salary, just food for thought, throwing that out there a little bit. It can also be used to supplement our GED programming, which is minimal now, but we still have to have someone responsible for that to be trained and to proctor that programming, because we do have students that are court ordered to take that. So we have a facility set up there in one of the rooms that Dr. G had mentioned. We are an authorized testing center now, so we will have to have people there proctoring and organizing that for our students as well. And just finally, as a reminder that that money has to be spent out by June 30th of 2025. So that's that on the Title I-D money. Any questions on that, on how that can be used, or any ideas? Okay. If you have any, let me know if anything comes up. Good news, it was mentioned last board meeting that we did apply for another physical safety and mental health grant. That has just been awarded to us in the allocation. The award is $111,000, give or take 520. So that's what we got. That was just awarded. And as I mentioned before, the narrative was written for another school police officer and to supplement our mental health specialist salary and benefits. I think we're still going to stick with that. Any questions on that one? Okay. It was brought up last board meeting as well, the lead that Patty had given to me for the PA SMART grant, advancing computer science and STEM in the school. I went ahead with the okay of Dr. McDivitt and went for it. It was a very lengthy grant. I did apply for it. It has been submitted. And the purpose of the grant is to expand computer science, STEM, career and technical education through learning experiences that promote dual enrollment
industry credentials, work-based learning, internships, pre-apprenticeships, and out-of-school experiences for our students. This grant is meant, it's a $500,000 grant, meant to operate on a much larger scale, cross-sector partnerships. So I personally loved writing this grant because it gave me the opportunity to do a lot of outreach. I ended up with 5 commitments as partnerships. For the programming, they had to write a letter of commitment to us and read the narrative, partner with the narrative, and those organizations were Clarion County Career Center, Lincoln Hall, Penn West, Invention Land. There are 2 businesses, 2 companies within Invention Land in the Pittsburgh area, and they do a wonderful job creating the space, bringing STEM into the space. So had a fabulous time getting to know them, seeing some of the spaces that they have worked with, and I feel really positive about this. If nothing comes about, it was a great experience, and it comes up all the time, so I'm going to continue to go after it. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and I'll keep you posted. Any questions for me?
How much was that grant?
$500,000. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, that concludes my portion tonight.
Thank you.
Sure.
District report.
Thank you, Brendan. I'll start off with an update from the USDA. Starting with the 27-28 school year, they're trying to enhance student participation on meals, so they're going to eliminate a number of fees. First off, payment service fees have accrued to over $100 million each year, and that's when the students and their families add money through an electronic method. So that's going to be eliminated and made accessible for all students. Accounts do not require computer access to, again, enhance communication and the outreach. We also must notify our families about all these changes and provide them with an alternative method to add money onto their accounts. And then also we cannot discriminate any of these students for free and reduced pricing. So a minor step in the right direction, but trying to do our very best to get that. We've been meeting in a weekly PASA legislative update, and there's not a whole lot of changes going on right now, not much legislation. What we're doing together as a committee is to meet new legislators both at the state and federal level and advocate for public education and share some of our successes as well as some of our needs. I recently met with Trent Mullen from Bridge Builders, and we talked about the Phillips Foundation. If you recall, I wrote the Phillips grant last year for the football field. They do not cover athletics, but it could partner with the CA Smart grant that Ms. Thurber's been working on as well. So I will reapply for that grant and they can provide me with some updates. In addition to that, we've been working on our record retention policy. Erin has taken the lead, so I thank her so very much for the work that she's doing. We have a bunch of records behind us. I'd like for you to just take a minute and look through them before you leave. There's pictures, there's old information, yearbooks and such. I think you find it interesting. And then I'd like to finish by thanking the administrative team. You heard everybody's report and see all the work that we're doing here, and it's an honor to be working with that group. We're really moving in the right direction. Erin's been great. Sarah will be fantastic to replace Tammy, so we do thank you for all your support. Great, that concludes my report.
Thanks, David. So for this consideration, do we need to make a motion or do we need to have a discussion first?
How about you give some information, and then we're gonna have to make a motion to discuss it, and we can vote it down, or if we vote it down, then we'll make a new motion.
Okay, so this evening we have 2 contracts in front of you, no cost to the district. We're going to be a host site to provide mental health support to our students. We've been without some support since Family Psychological has withdrew their employees that have been working down here. So the administrative team, including Ms. Smith, who we talked to during the workshop, had met with both Blade Run and Next Step. And we talked about locations, we talked about services, collaboration with the 4 counties that we work with. And it's a recommendation from the administrative team that we go with Blade Run. They're an established program. They're working with a couple neighboring school districts. The feedback that we got from them is all positive. There's not been any negative. I'm not sure how much experience Next Step has working with school districts or the different counties And I think that lack of experience may impede the collaboration. But either way, whatever direction we want to go, I support it. Our students do have some mental health needs that are not being met right now, just because we don't have an agreement in place. Looking for any kind of questions or comments?
I mean, I saw a couple of parents reached out to me, and they are in support of the next step because of some personnel that worked with the students beforehand at a separate company. Now they're working with this. But I do agree with David that the lack of experience within districts and working with the 4 separate counties would be a problem, I think. I understand the students are comfortable and they know some of the employees at next step, but I think we need to look at all the aspects of it, the lack of experience that concerns me.
And I think what we should do, I think we should make a motion based on a recommendation by the admin team. And then we can continue to discuss it. If you want to vote it down, then we'll make a new one. But I think the motion should be based on the recommendation that came from the administrators.
And is there a cost associated with this agreement?
Not right now. We'll be a host site and they can bill health insurance and access and whatever it may be. Now, there is an agreement where they can send down more staff. We can have more opportunities to support all students associated with that. And we can do different types of evaluations, which we're lacking right now. But the agreement we have in front of you, because we didn't budget for it, there's no cost to the district. It's just us being a host site.
And this is just for my personal knowledge, and I think I mentioned this in an email. It's just, is there some clarification on what our responsibilities are as a district when it comes to, like, from a compliance standpoint, what we're required to provide, or it seems like this isn't necessarily a requirement, but something that we're doing for the benefit of
I
students.
think unless it's written in the IEP, it's not a requirement. So I think this is just, we're going above and beyond to support the students. If it was in an IEP, it would be an actual requirement that we had to fulfill.
I think the administration is able to utilize these services to prevent attendance issues like Dr. Jordan had alluded to earlier, over identification of special education, enhance discipline and whatnot. We try to get out in front of the problem to tackle it before it starts becoming a But yeah, we don't have any kind of true obligation.
This is just another step you're taking.
So we're actually supporting the parents by offering the services here rather than them having to go to a different location.
Well, and right now, they can't get into another location. I mean, I know that, I've heard that resoundingly, that, it's taking sometimes months to get, into a location, the services are just overwhelmed.
So you want to make the motion for, and then we can have further discussion about if we need to change it or vote down.
Sure, and then the contract would be in effect from December of 24 through June of 25.
Is that what the contract is now, or is it a
She
year?
updated that contract. I'm not sure what that date is. I thought it was effective the day of the school.
Okay, so it'd be so from November of 24 through June of 25.
Okay.
Consideration to approve the services agreement between Glade Run and the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District, which will be in effect from November 2024 through June 2025 as attached. So
Second.
Okay, moving to second. Any more discussion on this motion as far as the differences between the two organizations and what your thoughts are?
So they just show up here, do we have a workplace for them, a room or something, or how do they?
Yeah, that's a good question, John. Yeah, if they come here, they'll do a site evaluation to make sure we have a room available for them. And then I'll let the principal talk as far as what that day-to-day operation looks like. I think they go through the school counselor to schedule students. Am I correct with that?
Do parents get to request that their child receive support, or is it all an internal thing?
You mean any parent or parents?
Yeah, I'm just curious, do the parents get to call you up, do they call up and say, because I can see this snowballing.
So like when we refer parents to that kind of service, like that's usually through staff, like our staff liaison will give parents what's out there. And if we have that service here in the building, then they'll definitely recommend that. But parents still have to like take that initiative and I think they do the initial intake. I think they can do it here, but it's like billed through the parents' insurance and everything. So just any parent can't call and say, I want my kid to see.
I guess that was what my
That
question
person.
was, because,
That would be more, Mrs. Rice or Mrs. Davis,
okay,
as it are, that are ours, and we can set up services internally with them. This is not, I don't want to say not within our control, but like it all goes through insurance, and we're just the place where they get to have that meeting, so that the parent doesn't have to drive to a facility, or the student doesn't have to miss any more school than possible to see that person on site.
So did this extend outside the school district for people looking for these services?
No, not that I'm aware of, just because of the safety and security aspect of it, that we just target and utilize those services for us.
I assume that would be out on the area.
They have other sites around different neighborhoods.
A few students did even come in the summer and meet here rather than, like our liaison in the past has come here during summer and had summer sessions, so the parents didn't have to drive any further.
any other discussion? Okay, so if we vote this motion through, then we will need to make another motion. Okay, everybody understand, agree with that? Okay, so all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries.
And enrollment numbers, has cash as well.
Okay.
You do not have a student board representative yet. Have any luck finding anybody to go? No. Okay. I bet that's not an easy task, but thank you for looking. We appreciate it. School police officer report.
You have it in front of you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brady. All right, so we're gonna move on to policy. Jeff, you wanna do policy?
Sure.
You can lump
They
some of
can
those.
all go together, correct?
You can do A through C and D through J.
A through C and D through J.
Yes.
A through C, consideration to approve the first reading of policy 006, 801, and 903. So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on those? As far as any changes that were made? Okay, first reading, so we'll have them again next month. All those in favor? Actually, that won't be a month. Or, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And D through J, consideration to approve the second reading of policy 113.1, 113.2, 202, 236.1, 254, 607, and 805.2. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? These come up because that's part of what we pay PSBA for. They do this throughout the state with all the districts. Like, we're not just deciding we want to pull this policy out and rewrite it. They recommend oftentimes new policy updates, and they send them up with Divot, and then it comes time, so.
And a lot of times Kelly and I will review them together, make them take the old policy, compare them to the new policy. So I strongly encourage you to, I know it's kind of laborious at times, but read through those policies. It really makes us operate day to day, and it's an important part of our job.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. Eric, do you want to do facilities?
Sure. Yes, sir. The high school, we're still battling some issues with our heat system on. We're finding some control motors and different things that are acting up, power failures over the summer. So we're working through that. Still waiting on parts for the circulating pump at the high school. There's pumps for those parts are back ordered. The elementary, collaborating with Courtney Chalmers to get some, any of the new teachers that don't have name tags updated in the classrooms. We're going to go through and get a list of those and get that sent to sign company we've dealt with in the past to get designated. district-wide, just getting the vehicles undercoated, it's been bad rust, and we've got the light bulb them. We're able to do that in-house. Finishing up outside with leaf cleanup and transitioning equipment over to snow season, which seems like it might happen this week a little bit. I also attached, there, it's a 3-phase paving project. I know we kind of talked about that last time a little bit. Just kind of broke the property up as like a phase 1 with the elementary back section up to the main entrance. Phase 2 would be the main entrance coming in and the student parking lot, cafeteria side. And then the last phase would be the high school area and then the other exit road down to Philosophy Road. Most of the property up in the high school area has been done in the past. The elementary section, I believe it's original in the building, so it's in the worst shape. But it's just some numbers to kind of gauge off of for the future through later paving, but obviously there's other options out there that we can go with. And then also discuss some quotes for springtime to level up some areas of the sidewalks that have drifted over the years. Get this one back. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, we have no transportation this evening, and we'll move on to miscellaneous. Do we have a career center report tonight?
Sure. So the biggest thing was Tracy was able, at the Career Center, Tracy Wilderson was able to secure a grant for, David, I think it was 1.5 million to replace the roof and part of the HVAC system at the Career Center there. So that was really awesome that she was able to get that. Part of it was a small matching grant. I think she had a match of 25,000 or so. The large majority of it was a grant. They had their open house, which was open to 7th and 8th graders and then the Career Center members as well. I went up and saw that there. Really nice to see the staff members and see what the kids are doing in each of the shops and able to talk to some of the kids. They really enjoyed it there. I think it's a great thing that going on up there. Other than that, we're just sort of looking forward at the future of what the workforce is going to be needing and how we can tailor the curriculum there to support that. That's all.
Thank you. How about you report? Douglas report?
Actually, the last couple of months have been personnel and policy, just like we're dealing with policy here, we added the IU as well. This is going to be the upcoming year is a contract year for us, so we did start having some meetings, preliminary meetings for contract negotiations, which I've been involved in both before, so we do not meet in November, but we'll be meeting again for our reorganization meeting.
You have some correspondence from Lena Hannah.
Yeah, we just sent down their book that they sent out to the elementary school and a letter to thank the school board for their work.
As far as the tech committee, we haven't met, but I'm anticipating that we'll be in the meeting in January to start talking budgets. So I was going to talk with Aaron about that tonight, get a date set up. Athletic committee meeting, I think there's been one. And the football committee,
No meeting, but it was, a member has taken on his own to start trying to figure out where we're going to go next. So we still don't have a direct path of where we want to be or where we want to go, but it hasn't died off. So that's our main goal, is to keep things moving.
okay, thank you. And finance and facilities committee, have you guys met?
We are.
Okay. So any old business? I had a note here, is Lauren here? Yep. Oh, okay. New business, Lauren would like to address us briefly about a trip for the softball team to Pigeon Forge. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren McKinney, I'm the coach of the softball team for Union AC Valley. So I think, me and my sister went back into the math, I think that the softball team hasn't got the opportunity to go on a spring training trip since 2014. So I think the baseball team this year celebrated 10 years of going. So that's something we'd like to get back into doing. So the plan for the trip is to take the girls to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The Ripken Experience has a facility there. They have, I believe, 6 turf fields. They also put on different speed clinics and different things like that that we could participate in as well. So it's a little bit more than just going down and playing softball. Our hope is to go down and play 10 games. We're hoping to get at least 2 of those to be specifically JV games, so we can make sure we have JV scheduled for the girls. Maybe not on varsity as well, but that would kind of depend on the tournament schedule, the other teams that show up if they have JV, that kind of stuff. We're planning to rent vans and drive down, and then the plan is also to stay in one large cabin to kind of have all the girls under one roof to foster more of a team building relationship. If we play 2 games in the morning, we can go home and have lunch, a team lunch together. A lot of the cabins down there have arcades and hot tub, pool, all that kind of stuff as well, that the girls can kind of then have team bonding experience after playing the games, and it would just be more of a team building trip as well as playing those games, getting those extra season, because in March, the weather in Pennsylvania is not great. So that's the plus of this trip as well, is we can go play on some turf fields, get some games in, when maybe the weather in Pennsylvania is not so great. So, yeah, that is the plan. If anybody has any questions, I was also here for the discussion of the assistant coaches for softball, so if anybody has questions about the necessity for that many coaches as well, I would be happy to answer anything about that as well.
Without a trainer, if we trainer more
I believe that they do sometimes. I think sometimes it's been substituted with a nurse. I'm not entirely sure what the baseball team does.
well, now we're kind of out, so.
Yeah. So, I think that has previously been the alternative, is that we find maybe a nurse to go in that position, so.
Lauren, have you done any fundraising events or?
Yeah, we did just recently do a cash bash bingo event, so we already have $10,000 funded and ready for this trip. So at this point, we are just waiting on school board approval, and then we'll be ready to send our deposit to register for it.
And do you have dates for the trip?
Yes, March 9th through the 16th.
Does that coincide with the baseball trip?
I am not entirely sure. The reason for that trip is one of our assistant coaches is in school, and that's their spring break. So for her to be able to go with us and have our other coach to also stay in the cabin. Yeah. Right now we have 20 land. So I think once we get to the nitty gritty of the finances, it will depend then if everybody's, if we have enough fundraisers, that would be on the girls then to fund the rest of it.
So I guess what we would need, can you give us something formal that we can put on the agenda for December?
I can do that.
And then we can have a discussion and vote at that point.
How many chaperones would you need for that case?
Our policy, and I don't have it right in front of me, but
Or
the number,
1 per 10 kids.
1 for 10 kids.
Yeah, we would definitely cover that, yeah.
So when you say you're running a large cabin, every student's gonna have a bed, they're not gonna be like on the floors and the couches?
No, absolutely not. There are cabins that accommodate, that's where that's how we did it when I was in college. We would stay in one big house and it accommodates like 34 people. So there's, they have big rooms with like 10 bunk beds in it and.
Yeah, do you need something before the next board meeting? I mean, do we have time, because,
December 2nd.
yes,
December 2nd. We can wait. Right now, we're just waiting on to register, and the sooner the better, so we can for sure get a spot in the tournament.
That's only 2 weeks.
yeah.
So I don't think that should be a huge problem at this point.
I think that's what would be best, if we could have something formal.
Yeah, I believe we have to have half of our payment in by January 15th, so we would need to be registered prior to that.
I don't know as far as renting vans and driving, do we have any?
15 passenger van requires a CDL, so you'll have to be careful about how big.
Okay, we also, Union has their vans, that we could possibly also take, granted the scheduling issues and that kind of stuff, so we would have to, we'd work that out with Union, but I've also taken I've taken, the courses to drive those target vans, so.
Yeah, if you could just spell that out. And put it down.
Absolutely, I can do that.
Sure.
Yep. All right,
We'll have it on the agenda then for December.
sounds great, thank you all.
That reminds me, I want to remind you folks that our next meeting is December 2nd, that Monday. So it's gonna be pretty quickly, the Monday after Thanksgiving, because it's a reorganization meeting, so. We're gonna have a gap before January is done.
That's in person?
Yes, that's an in-person, we don't have a workshop.
Yes.
Do we do the workshop before the meeting? Or
No, we
just-
just
We usually don't, we just have a meeting. You get your agenda and everything ahead of time, so. We can have a discussion that night. I mean, I'm not anticipating a large agenda, since it's only 2 weeks away.
We don't have new members coming in.
No, not this time, no.
Next time.
Yeah, next year.
Next year, there'll be 4 of us, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, any other new business? Okay, do I have a
Motion
motion?
to adjourn.
All those in favor, aye.
Have a great night, thank you.
That's